Hey guys, servus and welcome to this new episode of Simple Crypto here from Vienna. Today is a very special day. It's not only a special day for crypto where we have a lot of discounts ongoing, but also a special day for the global financial markets because some huge anticipated situation has started to unwind, and we are not yet sure how far this crash in the market can go. But in this video, I will explain you in detail what this crash actually means and how it was actually, what was it caused by. Many people have been asking me that because I have shared on my social media, on Instagram, on X, and on other channels. I have shared that this major crash is happening, and people have been asking me why. In this video, I want to explain it in just a few minutes. So stick with me and I will show you quickly what has been happening. So you will ask, like, SBF, what the hell is going on? Everything is declining, everything is crashing. My folio is down over 10%. Yeah, what has been happening? And so what happened is that the Japanese yen reached a 38-year low in valuation against the US dollar. You see this here in the graphic. We haven't seen such a weak yen since 1986. And this resulted in a situation where the Bank of Japan just said, we can't watch this any longer. We need to do something against it because our currency, which is seen as a stable global currency, can't just devaluate over and over again day by day. So the Japanese National Bank, the Bank of Japan, did the following thing. They increased the interest rate by 0.25%, from exactly 0 to 0.25%. And you might say now, well, that's ridiculous. If I can borrow money for 0.25%, it's still almost nothing. I borrow as much as I can. And that sounds, in theory, that sounds practical. But in reality, the Japanese economy is a relevant economy globally. It still is the fourth biggest economy in the world. And you say, okay, it's 7 times smaller than the United States economy. How does that affect the global markets? But it was, and that's the interesting thing, it was lower than now. It was at 0 basically since the financial crisis of 2008. And that means that it was first time increased above this rate. From the last 16 years, it has been that low. And that results in a major correction for the Japanese yen against the dollar. But like in the other way, so the Japanese yen got stronger. So within a few days, the yen exchange rate to the dollar came from 162 yen that you got for $1 to only 141. And that's much stronger currency for exchange rate. So the yen got much stronger, and this resulted in the Japanese stock exchange to crash. Suffered the worst day since 1987, actually. And what you need to keep in mind is that usually when the currency is increasing, the stocks have a very hard time because currency is strengthening. It's great to just hold the currency and go out of the stock market. However, there is much more to the story here than this, because what Japan gave to the world is the so-called yen carry trade. The Japanese yen was getting weaker and weaker recently, actually for several years. And at the same time, it costed 0 money to borrow from the Japanese banks and invest it in global risk assets to make money. So you go to the bank in Japan, you take a loan which doesn't cost you anything, basically, and you invest it in an asset which gives you high returns. Later, you give back the money to the Japanese bank. The money has even devalued. It was getting weaker by day, so you have to give back less value of yen, since the real value of yen declined meanwhile. So this carry trade was used strongly by investors globally, not only by Japanese, but especially by Japanese big funds and by also private investors who borrowed this cheap yen to flood the global market with its currency. And let's move over to the live to the live picture here. I also have this here for you, where you see I'm here on TradingView. This is the live chart of the Japanese yen right now. As you see here, let's put it on the weekly, since 2011, not since the economic crisis in 2008, but since 2011, the yen has been getting weaker and weaker. So this carry trade was not only profitable because of the low interest rate that you paid, but also for the reason that you had to pay back less due to the devaluation of the Japanese yen. On the other hand, now we see the interest rate hike led to a major strengthening of the yen. And this means that many investors decided to give their money back, mostly not because of the 0.25 interest rate that they need to pay, but because of the currency risk that they have, the exchange rate risk. So you see, if the yen gets stronger and stronger and I borrow here, I need to give back in dollar value more in the future. So you see it was over 10% that it strengthened. And this means that you need to make a lot of profit on your carry trade to do that. And what happened then is, well, we all saw it in the media this morning. The Nikkei closed its worst day since the 1980s. It just fell all the way to the bottom here, where it's stuck now at 31,000 points, which is from 42, which is an insane decrease of 25% already. Friday we saw it starting. Today we saw it accelerating, and the interesting thing is that this is not a Japanese thing, because the yen flooded the global markets with the cheap money. So you see also the DAX, the German stock exchange has been following suit. Same as on Friday, it did that not in the same dimension as the yen did, but it probably will fall even more when the New York Stock Exchange is opening. And maybe I can tell you quickly, I'm filming this video just 15 minutes before the stock exchange in New York is opening. And what you should know is that the VIX, the volatility index of the S&P 500, the American index where most of the big stocks are in, or all the big stocks are in, hasn't seen a level like this for a very long time. So we are currently still in the pre-market, and the pre-market, on the pre-market, it's up over 150%. High volatility usually in this dimension means that there is a huge drop. When the market will open, it could happen that many stocks go down 10%. What you see here is the Corona crash. Just to see. So yeah, you see here that during this huge dump at Corona here, this is what the VIX is showing at this 2020 level. And we are almost there. We were already this high, and we are almost at the dimension of the Corona crash. And here This is 2008. So you see the dimension we're reaching in the VIX is insane, and it came up faster than it ever did in history, probably. We are still, I say it again, pre-market. So if you look at Apple, for example, it's anticipated to go down about 10%. So from 120 to from 220 to 200, it should go about 10% down. Same probably for other stocks. Let's check Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft is, oh damn, it's here. Yeah, so also Microsoft is supposed to see a big decline. It's not as big as the Apple one, but it's also going down about 5%. Let's see, Amazon. Amazon is supposed to go down 7.5%. So you will see that a lot of these big stocks, and Nvidia, our special candidate of the last months. Let's see how this reacts. It reacts very, very strongly as well. So Nvidia prognosed to go down over 10% on the pre-market. People are selling their stocks already before the market is even open. And before I tell you too much about this, I hope you learned something today, because the carriage rate of the yen is much, the whole world is much deeper in this topic than many people might believe. And it could be the kickoff for a really big correction. We could probably see this just as the second day of the correction. Maybe there are 2 weeks coming or 3 weeks coming where we see major declines happening. Also, other things are on the sidelines. The US job market is not really going very well, as you all know. The potential crisis potential in the Middle East. There are a lot of things that are bad news on the horizon. So maybe this recession is finally kicking in and we don't get the soft landing, but rather a hard landing. I hope you have some money on the sidelines to buy the dip. And until next time, I wish you a wonderful day. Your Alex.